afternoon from Northern Ontario. We're supposed to get a bunch of rain today at around 3 o'clock, and it's 2 o'clock now here. So anyway, my name's Dave, and this is McCarroll Siding by N-Scale Model Railroad. As watchers of the channel will know that we're building a very large module that's a rock quarry. And so today what we're going to do is we're going to make falling rocks. Now by that I mean we're going to make it so that, let me see, let's do this. Oh, wrong one, sorry. I want camera 5, right? Yeah, camera 5, there we go. What we're going to do is we're going to make it so that it appears as if rock is falling out of the back of this truck and down into the crusher. And so what we're going to use is two different methods. You know me, I like to experiment, and I call my model railroad the experiment. So we're going to use two different methods. We're going to use a UV resin and a UV flashlight, and we're going to use a moldable plastic. It's called polyplastic. I don't know. And it comes in 8 by 12 sheets, so 1/16 of an inch thick. And it melts in water, with hot water. And I'm not going to use hot water. I'm going to use my heat gun, because I experimented with hot water yesterday, and it was pretty well a disaster. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the plastic first, because I already did an experiment yesterday, and I've already decided what I'm going to use. So I'm just going to show you the plastic so that you know that it's available to you. Now, the plastic comes in these sheets. It's about 1/16 of an inch, as they say, and get the truck out of there, and we will go here. And so it's about 1/16 of an inch thick. It is white in color, and it will be white in color after you've heated it. The instructions say to put it in hot water and wait until it goes transparent. Well, the problem with that is you can't reach into the hot water to pick it up. That's number one. Number two is if you do use tongs or tweezers, in its molten state, it sticks to everything, and I mean freaking everything. So I don't know if you could melt it with your hand heat. It's got to go transparent, absolutely transparent, for it to mold. And so what we're going to do is, using the heat gun, we're going to make a sort of like little waterfall thing. Now what I did was, I made this little, what most modelers would call a buck. It's a pre-shaped. You would use it for molding materials over top of it. It's the shape that you want it to be. So with this on and then the truck parked at the top, what we want to do is make this fall down into that rail. I'll turn it sideways here, and I'll switch cameras for you so you can see. So this is what we want to do with it. We want the truck up where it belongs in the quarry. We want it tilted, and we want this to melt and form a curve that goes down into the crusher. As I said, when I tried this yesterday, it was, I'll show you what it looks like now, but it wasn't, the first two were not pretty. Let me just say that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take the piece of plastic that I have, and I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to take the heat gun. Now this is going to make a bit of a noise, but we should be okay. And you see it starts to melt right away. And you can see you see that it's gone transparent. Just gotta be careful because I have burned myself a couple times with this now. So now it's transparent and it's warm. Let's just say that. So what you do now is you just leave it stand there and set, and it will go back to its white state. And you can see that as long as it's still warm, you can stretch it pretty good. Now I'm not going to attempt to take it off this until it goes back to being white and I can touch it. Like I said, yesterday I used hot water with my induction, my little portable induction stove down here, and the water was literally boiling, and there was no way I was going to reach it and grab the damn stuff. So let's see what happens here. Oops. Like I say, it sticks to everything. Now what I've done is I've coated this piece of styrofoam with parchment paper, because parchment paper, and you see it's still too malleable for me to pull it off. So I'm going to wait. And so what will happen is we have the truck here, and it'll be like that. There, like that. So now we're just waiting for it to go back to being white. I could spray it with cold water, but it would give water all over the place down here, and I have no intention to do that. So that's this material, and I believe I got it on Amazon. So if you look up polyplastics at polyplastics.com, you will get you'll be able to pick this up. It would be good for molding maybe some scenery. Maybe even some rocks, the way it melts. But like I say, it's still too hot for me to move it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that aside and let that cool down. Now the one that I've decided I am going to do is curable hard resin. It is UV resin, just like you would use in your 3D printer. And it hardens with a UV light, which I'm not going to point at the camera, but I think you'll be able to see the color here. Let me just switch, and you can see there's the UV light. That when you buy the flashlight, they provide a set of glasses. Which I wore yesterday, and it didn't seem to make any difference because I was not looking directly into the light. So what I've got is also down in the quarry is this little machine, the miniature crusher. See it? This is a model from DARP.com in the United Kingdom, and it's a fairly simple assembly. I have painted it, as is my tradition, with cat colors, as in cats, the mining equipment. And I still have to put a wash on this and weather it. I still have to paint the tracks. But I don't need it painted to do this. So it has two chutes off it. It has this one right here. It shoots up very high, and a little one off to the side, which I really have no idea what it's for. see? Maybe, oh, there you are. Here, it's right here, right here, right there. So, what we're going to do is, I made two trajectory, or two arcs. One is designed for the longer of the two, and the other one is designed for the shorter. And because of the thinness of this, it makes a lot more sense to use the UV resin than it does to try and do it with this white moldable plastic, because it just doesn't work very well. So what we're going to do here is I'll take my Sharpie and I'm going to mark the width of the material that's going to. I'm just going to. Now this does not have to be pretty. It does not have to be accurate. After all, you're throwing rocks with a machine. It's not like you're painting the Sistine Chapel. Same here. That. And do that. Now these are longer than they need to be, because what's going to happen on the layout itself, at the end there's going to be a pile of gravel, small gravel. It's building up from this machine shooting gravel towards it, and then a very, very small pile from the small conveyor on the side. And so that'll make up a mini diorama for this machine. So let's see what we can get, how much trouble we can get into here. So this stuff is fluid. I try as much as possible not to touch it in its raw state. Wait until it is cured. So I'm just going to make like that. And then the next thing is UV light, and now I did an experiment with this yesterday, and it came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. The one for the dump truck is basically done, and what we'll do later in the video is to start gluing rocks to that, so that it can go into appear that the truck is actually dumping into the crusher. And now this is a lot like watching paint dry. It takes its time. I got a little poker here that I can see. That's already solid on the top. And this will be transparent when it dries. Now, it's not glass transparent, but it's definitely transparent. So that is now set. So off with the light. Let's see what happens. And there you are. So now I can trim it and it'll do that. Let's turn it sideways so you can see what do that means. So what I'm going to do now, or not right now, but later, we're going to put fine gravel on this. We're going to use some Mod Podge and paint the resin with the Mod Podge, and then sprinkle on the gravel. And I have 4 containers here of gravel that are all from my favorite store for modeling, and that is the dollar store. They don't always have the gravel in stock at the dollar store, but so we'll put that aside, and we're going to do the small one. So again, that just takes one pass because it's so small. The other thing that you could use this resin for, if you can apply it carefully enough, if you got vehicles that have their cabs are exposed and there's no glass, but you've got all the rods and everything that are supposed to be around the framing that's supposed to be around the window. If you took a very fine toothpick, I think you could probably fill in windows on a vehicle with it. I haven't tried it yet. I got a couple of 6-wheel dump trucks that the cabs are open. There's no glass. And so what I'm going to do is take one as a sacrificial lamb and see if I can actually use the resin to make glazing in the windows. So one thing about N scale, the size is always an issue. I love it because I can build huge industries, and but on the other hand, I printed a new school bus yesterday, and painting the frames around all the windows on that school bus was not an enjoyable task. It came out all right, but I think I'm going to reprint it and make it a little smaller because it looked a little bit out of scale to me. I was still trying to figure out the the scaling, because I have vehicles that are purchased N scale and vehicles that I printed that are N scale, and so it's difficult. There we go. So we'll bring this back this time. I have this there. Did I keep my scissors over here or not? Oh, but I did keep a knife. So what we're going to do is just quickly. Oh, the resin's really hard. So there you go. That's what it's going to look like, except it's going to have rock on it. So let's see if our white plastic has finally taken shape. So we'll move this out of the way. Put that there, and I'm going to put this one up there too, just so it keeps the shape. So as I was saying, I have purchased N scale vehicles, like this truck from Showcase Miniatures, and what I try and do is base my measurements off of these vehicles. Most of them are a scale 9 feet wide. I think that's what they are, which seems to be this one's a scale 8 feet wide. And then the other thing I do is for some of the vehicles I go online to the web, like for the Caterpillar vehicles, I go right to their website, and there are pages and pages of vehicle dimensions. So you just pick a model and bang, there you go. So here's the white plastic. It's held in its shape. There's what it would look like if we were going to use it. Like I said, the reason I'm not going to use it is because there's lack of transparency. I'd have to cover every little speck of this thing so that the white plastic wouldn't show through. But with the resin, because it's semi-transparent, and I should be able to apply materials to it and get it to work. So that was stage 1 of this project. Stage 2 is with the dump truck. Where are you, beast? Now that's going to go just like that. See that? Now I'm not going to glue it in place. We're gonna work on this in this tray. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to coat the underside of this with some Mod Podge. Now this is where the experiment starts, because I have not done this before. So I'm now looking for my handy dandy tongue depressors. There we go. Just give this a stir. Now I'm not diluting this because I want it fairly thick so that the materials that I'm sprinkling on go right into it. David, where'd you put that? There it is. Or we have a big mess on our hands. Let's just do that. Alright, so do this. Now the rock in the quarry is ranges from fairly dark to almost sandy like. So here we go. Brush. And now the reason I'm doing the bottom first is this is going to be fine grained gravel. It's going to form the base of the rock that's falling. A little jar of water here to keep that brush alive for while we do this. So what I've got is a container. Find one of these dry, one of these needs to be dry. That's dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this. Am I on camera with you guys, or am I doing it off camera? That's not helpful at all. So some fine gravel. And a little bit coarser gravel. And I'm going to mix them together. And I'm going to put more coarse gravel in there. It's not showing up as much as I like I say, I get this at my local dollar store, and they don't always have it in stock. It comes and goes. So when it is in stock, I buy a whack of it. So now here we go. We're just going to do this. Now, a majority of this is just going to end up in the bottom of this tray. But you can see now that that's got a layer of gravel on it. Now, if I was a patient man, I would wait, but I'm not a patient man. And my wife will tell you that. So, here we go again. We're going to take the Mod Podge. And I'm going to take more of this fine gravel and put it on the top. And I think what I'm going to go do, I'm just going to, where's the closest IPA? just give me a second. I'm just going to step out of camera for a moment. Put some IPA in a little dish here. And this is almost like a balancing track. Use the IPA to break the surface tension. It's yellow because it was yellow. I was using it to clean the paint on when I was paintbrushes when I was painting the school bus. And of course, we got school bus yellows. So that's just that. And you know what? We're gonna give it a speed up. And now, so the next step is going to be to use hot glue, and we've got I've got a rock here. I've got gravel that came from the dollar store. I have scenic Rama rocks that I purchased at Michael's, and I have rock from my gravel driveway. So we're, except for buying the resin, this is a pretty cheap project. So, okay, that is stuck there. Let's see what we can do. First things first, I'm going to put the lid back on the Mod Podge because I'm prone to spill things. And I'm going to do the same with the finer gravel that we used. There's no point in So I have the glue gun is warming up. It's a cordless one. It has a little base station. You stick it in the base station, it warms up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start by putting rock down this. Now some of this rock will be done now, and a secondary amount will be done when I actually put the truck into the quarry. Let's see if we can give you a shot here of what it might look like in the end. So we're going to have this, the truck will be up in the air like this. Be up in the air like that. So you can see that it's going to be falling down. There'll be finer rock glued into the actual bucket of the truck. But we want to have some large rocks falling in. This is garden stone. I bought a 20 pound bag of this reddish garden stone. And then I filled a bucket with water and black acrylic paint and some ink, and we let them sit for a couple of days until they absorbed the black. That made them much more like the rock that's actually in the quarry face, the darker gray rock that's in the quarry face. All right, let's just see if we've got any heat out of this thing. Well, we do. So, what I'm going to do, oops, didn't want to do that. I'm going to stand, if I stand that up, oh, it's not even in the shot. Never mind, we'll do it this way. So now what I'm going to do is, then I hope this is sticking. Now, I don't think there's a right or wrong way of doing this, so I'm just going to continue on. And I think it makes more sense to put the glue on the rocks than to put it on the ground. Oh, I may have to rethink this all together. So you can see that with the glue gun, it sort of works. I am going to I'm going to experiment off camera, but I think for now you can see that this would work pretty good. I think I'm going to have to find another glue. Probably, I wonder if I would that. What I need to do is find a carpenter's glue. See, now that one stuck perfectly. So why did that happen and it didn't happen anywhere else? Anyway, I'm not going to go along any further with this until I'm absolutely sure how to do it. And next week I'll give you an update on how it finally looked, because I'm going to do these over the next week. Next week I'm going to be working on the scenery in the quarry, more gravel on the ground and stuff. I did a whole section of gravel, and I'm just moving along. I don't know if camera 3 is going to show you it or not, but, so we won't bother. But anyway, thanks for watching. With my video talents, I am always doing this as if it's a live show, and I'm just gonna keep doing it that way. It's easier for me. I'm not the best video editor in the world. At 70 years old, it's a whole new learning curve. So anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.